In an age where manifestation and law of attraction dominate spiritual discourse, we're told we can think our way into any reality. Visualize your dream life. Repeat affirmations until they feel true. Embody the vibration of what you want. This philosophy promises ultimate control. If you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. But what happens when the dream doesn't materialize? When the perfect partner, the six-figure job, or the sudden windfall remains stubbornly out of reach? The spiritual marketplace has a ready answer: you didn't believe hard enough. Your vibration was off. You had hidden resistance. This is where modern manifestation culture reveals its dark underbelly. It transforms spiritual practice into a high-stakes performance of the will, where failure is internalized as a personal flaw. The relentless pressure to think positive becomes a new form of spiritual bypassing, silencing authentic emotions like doubt, fear, and grief, all while keeping you trapped in a cycle of striving and self-regret. You're not just failing to get what you want, you're failing at being spiritual. Consider these all too common scenarios. Lying awake at 3 a.m., mentally rehearsing your vision board for the 100th time, feeling your stomach clench with the effort of forcing yourself to feel abundant when you're anxiously watching your bank balance, feeling a knot of tension in your chest during a meditation session, not from peace, but from the strain of aggressively pushing away negative thoughts that threaten your manifestation vibration, the subtle resentment that builds when you see others seemingly attracting their desires with ease, wondering what secret ingredient you lack. This constant state of mental and emotional exertion creates a fundamental dissonance. You are trying to command the universe while simultaneously trying to surrender to it, a psychological tug-of-war that is inherently draining. It is the ultimate expression of what Taoism identifies as Wu Wei said, striving action that is out of alignment with the natural flow of life. The Tao Te Ching offers a starkly different starting point in Chapter 48. Forced action leads to failure. Clinging to control makes you lose it. The very effort you're exerting to manifest your desires might be the very thing preventing their fulfillment. Like a farmer who pulls up his crops every day to check on the roots. What if there is a different way, a path that doesn't require the exhausting work of mentally sculpting your reality, but instead teaches you how to align with a current of effortless power that already exists? This is not the power of attraction, but the power of alignment. This is the ancient Taoist secret known as Wu Wei. If Wu Wei is the exhausting struggle of pushing against the river, then Wu Wei is the profound art of learning to swim with its current. This is the crucial distinction that most interpretations of manifestation culture completely miss. It's not about inaction or passive resignation. It's about a specific quality of action that is perfectly timed, appropriately scaled, and seamlessly aligned with the natural patterns of the world around you. This is the essence of the Taoist art of being. The ancient Taoist masters were meticulous observers of nature, and they found in its operations the blueprint for all effective human conduct. They saw that the universe operates with a spontaneous, effortless efficiency. The sun rises and sets without being commanded. Seasons change without deliberation. A tree does not strain to grow. It simply unfolds according to its nature, drawing from the soil and reaching for the light. This is the expression of the Tao Te Wei of ultimate reality. Wu Wei is the practice of harmonizing our personal will with this greater, intelligent flow. To grasp these, consider the metaphor of the master carpenter from A mediocre carpenter full of tension and effort hacks at the wood. His tools dull quickly, and his results are rough. But the master carpenter appears to work with a serene, almost dance-like grace. His tools last for decades. Why? Because he does not fight the wood. He feels for its grain, its natural lines of strength and weakness, and applies his blade precisely there. His action is not less, But it is supremely efficient and effective because it is collaborative, not combative. This is Wu Wei, impracticy. Powerful, effortless action born from deep So, how do we translate this ancient wisdom into our modern lives? How do we shift from the mindset of making it happen to letting it come? It begins with a fundamental reorientation in several key areas of life, in our professional ambitions and careers. The shift is from frantic pushing to prepared reset. The modern professional is taught to hustle, to make things happen. This often manifests as compulsively checking emails, forcing networking interactions, and clinging to a rigid 5-year plan. Wu Wei invites a different approach. It means focusing intensely on mastering your craft, becoming so skilled that opportunity is naturally drawn to your competence. It means taking action, but from a place of inner confidence rather than external desperation. It's the difference between the marketer who spams thousands with generic messages and the one who creates one piece of profound content that resonates organically and finds its own audience. This is the Taoist alchemy of transforming anxious effort into magnetic presence. In our relationships and social dynamics, Wu Wei teaches us to release the need to control others. So much relationship anxiety stems from trying to force a partner, friend, or family member to be different. We push, we nag, we manipulate with silence or emotion, all forms of Wu Wei. The way of Wu Wei is to understand the natural character of those around you. It is to offer guidance without imposition, to set boundaries with compassion, and to understand that, like a plant, a person can only be supported to grow in their own way and time. This is where the wisdom of yin and yang energy becomes practical. Instead of forcing your yang energy of action onto a situation, you learn to balance it with yin receptivity, listening deeply, creating space, and trusting the organic process of connection. In the realm of creativity and problem-solving, Wu Wei is the secret to unlocking true innovation. Every writer, artist, or innovator knows the feeling of forcing it, sitting down and trying to will a creative breakthrough into existence, only to produce something stiff and uninspired. Conversely, they also know the magic of the flow state, when ideas seem to come through them from a source beyond their conscious mind. This flow state is Wu Wei. It is accessed not by straining, but by preparing the ground through practice and then releasing the need to control the outcome. You immerse yourself in the material, you do the research, you practice the technique, and then you take a walk. You meditate, you allow the subconscious, which is deeply connected to the Tao, to do its work. The insight, the melody, the solution then arises spontaneously, as if given, not made. This path requires a deep trust, a trust that the universe is not a barren void to be conquered, but a participatory field of intelligence with which we can cooperate. It is the cultivation of what the Taoists call the Taoist art of Wu Wei, a subtle skill that aligns our personal rhythm with the cosmic pulse. In the next and final part, we will bring this all together into a practical framework for living, exploring how to cultivate the inner stillness and perception needed to discern this flow and act in perfect harmony with it. Now that we understand the philosophy of Wu Wei, the most practical question remains: how do we live this wisdom in our day-to-day existence? This is not an invitation to abandon goals or ambition, but to pursue them in a smarter, more energy-efficient way. It requires cultivating a new harmony between inner perception and outer action. First, we need to redefine action itself. In the mainstream mindset, action is always tied to effort, struggle, and willpower. But from the Taoist perspective, the most effective action often feels the most effortless. It is like a master sailor who doesn't waste energy fighting the wind and waves, but instead trims the sails to harness their power and reach the destination. The core of this action lies in cultivating a profound inner sensitivity and ability to listen to the direction of life's current This begins with the practice of stillness. In the chaos of modern life, our internal compass is constantly disturbed by external noise. The Tao Te Ching advises, do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles and the water is clear? This settling of the mud is not a passive waiting. It is an active practice of creating inner space through meditation. Quiet walks in nature, or any activity that allows the chatter of the Qiguang, the light of acquired consciousness, to gradually quiet down. It is in this silence that we can begin to perceive the subtle nudges of intuition, the natural inclinations of our heart, and the opportunities that are aligned with our true path, what the Taoists might call the whispers of the Qiguang, the light of essential nature. Once we have cultivated this capacity for inner listening, the next step is alignment. This is where Taoist alchemy becomes a living practice. It is the process of adjusting our personal actions to resonate with the patterns we perceive. In our professional lives, this means moving away from a rigid, forceful pursuit of a single outcome. Instead, it involves developing a state of relaxed awareness. You diligently prepare. You hone your skills, but you release the desperate attachment to a specific result. You become like a surfer watching the waves, ready to paddle and catch the one that has the right energy and direction, rather than futilely trying to force a wave to appear. This is the application of the Taoist art of being in a goal-oriented world. A project manager, for instance, might stop micromanaging every detail and instead create a clear framework, then trust their team to fill it in creatively, intervening only when the natural flow is blocked. In our creative pursuits, Wu Wei is the key to unlocking the state of flow. When a writer forces a storyline, the prose feels stiff. But when they immerse themselves in the world of their characters, listening to their motivations and following the natural consequences of their actions, the story begins to write itself. This is not a loss of control, but a submission to a deeper intelligence. You are not ceasing to act. You are becoming a conduit for action. This is the Taoist secret of love for one's craft. A loving attention that allows the creation to emerge through you, not from you. In our personal relationships, practicing Wu Wei means relinquishing the exhausting effort to control and change others. It is about understanding the inherent yin and yang energy in every interaction. Sometimes, the yang action is to speak your truth clearly and set a boundary. At other times, the yin action is to step back, to listen deeply, and to allow a person or a situation to unfold at their own pace, just as you would allow a flower to bloom. This reduces friction and builds trust, creating a space where authentic connection can flourish naturally, without coercion. Finally, the practice of Wu Wei culminates in spontaneous and timely action. This is the moment when perception, alignment, and movement become one. It is the decision to send that email at the perfect moment, the intuition to reach out to an old colleague just when a new opportunity arises, the inspired solution that pops into your head during a shower. These are not random accidents. They are the fruits of a mind that has become quiet and sensitive enough to perceive the confluence of events, and courageous enough to act without hesitation. As the Tao Te Ching beautifully articulates, the sage acts without effort and teaches without words. The action emerges from a state of unity with the Tao, and thus it carries a natural power and grace that forced action can never possess. Ultimately, to embody Wu Wei is to engage in a profound collaboration with life itself. It is to shift from being an anxious architect, desperately trying to build your reality brick by brick, to becoming a wise gardener who understands the seasons, trusts the soil, and provides the right conditions for the most beautiful plants to grow on their own. This is the effortless power that the ancient Taoist masters discovered, a power that does not drain you, but replenishes you, a power that does not struggle against the world, but creates with it. Understanding Wu Wei is one thing. Living it as your default state is another. This final part is not about adding more techniques, but about integration, how to let this principle seep into your bones until it becomes as natural as breathing. It's about the shift from practicing Wu Wei to embodying it, transforming it from a concept into your fundamental orientation to life. This embodiment begins with redefining your relationship with time and outcomes. The modern mindset is obsessed with speed and immediate results. We want our manifestations now. Our success by a certain age, our happiness by a weekend. This hurried state is the very antithesis of Wu Wei, which operates on the timeline of nature. A bamboo plant spends years building its root system underground before it shoots up with astonishing speed. The Taoist approach invites you to adopt this same patience. It means focusing on the quality of your roots, your skills, your character, your inner stillness, and trusting that the visible growth will come in its own perfect time. This is the culmination of Taoist alchemy, the transformation of frantic time anxiety into a deep, abiding trust in the unfolding process. When you release the internal deadline, the pressure dissolves, and your actions can arise from a place of purpose rather than panic. The next crucial element is cultivating discernment in action. Wu Wei is not about avoiding all effort. It's about knowing precisely where and when to apply effort for maximum effect with minimum friction. This is a skill refined through It's learning to feel the difference between an action that is flowing and one that is forced. The flowing action. You need to have a difficult conversation. You've prepared. You feel centered, and the words come to you clearly and compassionately as you speak. There's a sense of rightness and flow, even if the topic is challenging. This is Wu Wei. The forced action. You feel you should network, so you attend an event with a tense smile, exchanging business cards without genuine connection. It feels draining and inauthentic. This is Wu Wei. The practice is to gradually increase the flowing actions and respectfully decline or reshape the forced ones. This is the practical application of the Taoist art of being. It's a continuous, gentle editing of your life to align with what feels authentically and naturally right for you, moment to moment. Furthermore, embodying Wu Wei requires embracing the wisdom of softness. Our culture celebrates hardness, iron wills, grit, and relentless pushing, but the Tao Te Ching consistently praises the soft, the weak, and the flexible. The soft overcomes the hard. The gentle overcomes the rigid. Think of water, the ultimate Taoist symbol. It is soft and yielding, yet it can carve canyons and wear down mountains. Embodying this means approaching challenges not with a hardened, combative mindset, but with a soft, adaptable, and perceptive one. In a conflict, this might mean listening first instead of attacking. In a negotiation, it might mean being flexible on details to secure the core principle. This softness is not weakness. It is a strategic, intelligent strength that conserves your energy and allows you to find paths that rigid force would never discover. Finally, the embodiment of Wu Wei is reflected in a radical acceptance of the present moment. This is perhaps the most challenging yet liberating aspect. Wu Wei can only operate in the now. You cannot flow with the river if you are mentally stuck upstream in yesterday's failure or downstream in tomorrow's anxiety. The practice is to continually return your attention to the current conditions, that actual reality in front of you, and respond to that, not to your story about it. This is where the deep work of stillness pays its highest dividend. When you are fully present, you can see the small, available opportunity that anxiety would have blinded you to. You can make the one, small, correct move that changes everything. Living in Wu Wei is, therefore, The ultimate Taoist secret of love, a loving acceptance of what is, a loving trust in the process, and a loving engagement with the world that is free from manipulation and control. Your life ceases to be a problem to be solved and becomes a landscape to be explored, a dance to be joined. You are no longer a separate self, trying to wrestle blessings from a hostile universe, but a unique expression of the universe itself, participating consciously in its endless, creative unfolding. This is the effortless power that Karmafu stands for. It's the understanding woven into every authentic talisman and piece of Taoist art we offer, not as magic charms to force an outcome, but as tangible reminders to return to this state of harmonious alignment. They are anchors for your intention to live in the flow. So begin today. Don't try to change everything at once. Simply notice one area where you are pushing the river, and then, just for a moment, see what happens if you let go. Listen deeply and take the single, most obvious and effortless next step. That is where the true magic begins.